Welcome to another lawnfawn video. It's Kelly here, and today we are so excited to be introducing our brand new stamp set, I Heart Pandas, and its coordinating dies. The I Heart Pandas stamp set also has a coloring stencil, which is so awesome. We're going to be introducing our I Heart Pandas add-on as well. This little stamp set is so cute, and it has coordinating dies and a coloring stencil too, which is so great. We're also going to be introducing our brand new bamboo stencils as well. These stencils are so gorgeous. It is a pack of 3 stencils that all layer to create the most beautiful bamboo backdrop, and we're going to be using it all throughout this video. First, we're going to take a look at the I Heart Panda stamp set, which of course is filled with the cutest pandas. Now these pandas are so adorable, but you can see that there are a lot of solid black lines in this stamp. And so one of my favorite tips for this is to really hold the stamp on your paper for a long period of time. So I like to hold it there for about 15 or 20 seconds, and when you do that, that gives the ink a lot of time to transfer and gives you a beautifully solid image. If you have a stamping tool like the Misty stamping tool, you can also use that and double stamp your images. So those are 2 different ways you can do it. But every time I stamped these pandas, I would hold them for about 15 to 20 seconds, and I got the cutest, most beautiful images. I mean, look at these pandas. They are just so adorable. Now, for all of these pandas, they need some fun scenery for them. So we have these really great bamboo stalks, and we have them in 2 different sizes so that you can layer them to create beautiful scenes behind the pandas. We also have some little individual bamboo stalks that they can hold, and the coordinating die has this cool thing that lets them hold things, and we'll show you that in just a little bit. We also have these little bamboo leaves as well, which looks so great. We have this super cute little ladybug, which is just adorable. And then we have some butterflies that help set the scene. I love using these in the sky as a fun way to add a pop of color. We also have a little heart, and then this little envelope with a heart as like the little seal on the envelope, and a little flower as well. We also have some great trails for the butterflies, once again to help set the scene and add them into your skies. And then we have some great little mini sentiments, and the first one cracks me up. It says, "Will you be my bamboo?" We also have, "I love you more than bamboo," and "You are bambootiful to me." "Oh shoot," which cracks me up. And then we have, "You're cute." And then we also have the phrase choose, so you can put that right next to the little panda that's holding on to the bamboo. And "I choose you," and "You are pandastic." Then we also have these really fun build a sentiment. So you can mix and match all of these different phrases to create the perfect sentiment for your card. So we have "You're a pandastic" or "You're a very good friend." And then you can also do "have a pandastic" or "have a berry good," and then you could stamp Valentine's Day. So I like that you can mix and match these all together, and this stamp set's so cute. Also, you can mix and match all of those sentiments with the add-on. We'll show you that in a bit. But first, we're going to add some color to these adorable pandas. And these pandas are really easy to color in because you could actually just leave them plain, just like that, or you can add just a little bit of warm gray or neutral gray or even a really light brown just around the edges. And that's what I've been doing with these little pandas. I added a little bit around the edge, and then I used a colorless blender to blend that all out. So there you can see I'm just adding my gray marker, nice light gray, and then I use that colorless blender just to blend that edge so that it just looks like there's a little extra shadow detail on the pandas. Now, for this last panda, I decided to just give him some rosy cheeks and that's it, and not add any of the shading, and he still looks adorable. So I love these guys because they're really, really quick and easy to add color to and add the most cutest image to your card. So now I'm working on the bamboo stalks. These are so much fun to color in because I like to add my darkest marker all along that kind of bottom right edge, and then I just blend it out with my lightest marker, and I think that just looks so beautiful. And there's so many different shades of greens, from olives to bright yellowy greens, that you can add for these to add these beautiful bright backgrounds behind your adorable pandas. And so here you can see all these different shades of green I'm using. I'm just taking a bunch of different ones from my stash and playing around, and they all just look so beautiful. Now, I love this little ladybug because it's a fun way to add a pop of red with the hearts for Valentine's Day. The other thing I love about this stamp set is that these pandas are great for year-round. Yes, they're adorable for Valentine's Day, but I am going to use these year-round with all of those cute, fun, and punny sentiments. Now that we've added color to everything, I just wanted to show you a close-up of these pandas, and you can see the different shading from the warm to the neutral gray to no shading at all and just some rosy cheeks. So you can really play around with these to get some super cute looks. Now we're taking a look at the I Heart Pandas add-on, which has this super cute little sleeping panda bear. And here you can see I'm doing my trick of leaving my stamp on my paper for a long time, 15 to 20 seconds, and then I lift up to get a nice solid image for those solid black areas that you have in the panda. And there you can see, isn't he so cute? In this medium-sized set, we also have another bamboo, and it's a different size than the bamboos in the original set, so it gives you another option. And then this cute little rock that panda can lay on, or the pandas from the I Heart Panda stamp set can also sit on that rock too. We have another butterfly, and then some fun little sentiments. We have "You are so very special." We have some Z's for our sleeping panda, and then we have "Oh shoot, am I late?" which is the cutest thing ever for a belated birthday card. And then here you can see we have "Wishing you a happy," or then we also have "Bambootiful." And so I love this. I just think it's so cute. And then you can say "belated" as well to go along with the "Oh shoot, am I late?" And then also "birthday." And you can take all these phrases and also match them with the phrases in the original set. So you can say "wishing you a pandastic birthday" as well. And then you can also use the phrase "you are bambootiful," which I think is just adorable and so sweet. And so we're going to go ahead and add color to these in the same way that I did with the other pandas, adding a bit of a darker edge to kind of the bottom right-hand corner of those little bamboo pieces and then blending it out with my lightest marker. I'm going to add some purple to the butterfly for a nice pop of color, and then some warm gray on the panda, and I'm going to blend it out with that colorless blender again. I'm just kind of going along his edges and blending it out until he looks super cute. I'll give some rosy cheeks because I just love rosy cheeks on a cute critter. And then I'm going to use some warm grays for the rock. You could use browns or neutral grays, whatever's going to work perfect for your project. And I just think this is just looking so cute. I love this little sleepy panda. He's just such a fun match to the I Heart Pandas stamp set. I love mixing and matching them together. Now these are the coordinating dies for I Heart Pandas, which you can bend apart at the tabs or use your wire snips to separate. And then all you need to do is just line them up with your beautifully stamped images, hold it in place with some low tack tape. You're going to run it through your die cut machine, and you'll have beautifully cut out images every time. Next, I wanted to show you the two special dies that are included with the coordinating dies. And these are little dies that can be used to cut out the paws of the pandas. So you can use them or not. So you could just have a plain die cut image, or you can line up this little piece there right in between these two hugging pandas, hold it in place with some low tack tape, and then run it through the die cut machine. Now we have it for the hugging pandas, and we also have it for this forward facing panda right here. So we're going to line that one up in the same way. You can see how it lines up right there with his paws, hold it in place with some low tack tape, and then we're just going to run that through the die cut machine. And when you run it through the die cut machine, you can see that you get these cute little cut panda paws, and they're perfect for holding little things. And so I'm going to show you that in just a second. Here's what it looks like on the little hugging panda duo. And then here are all of the images from the I Heart Pandas stamp set. I just can't get over these pandas. I mean, they are so cute, and I love all their little accessories. They are so much fun to mix and match. I like taking the bamboo and kind of layering it behind the panda like that to create a really cute scene. You can add those little extra leaves into either the bamboo shoots or around the pandas. And then here you can see how you can have these cute little pandas hold something. So that little guy is holding the heart, and I'm going to give the other one the little envelope for Valentine's Day. Is that not just the cutest thing you've ever seen? I just can't. It's just so adorable and so sweet. And then here is that forward-facing panda, and he can hold things as well. So here we're going to give him a little bamboo shoot, and I think it's just so sweet. And when their little paws holding it, I don't know, it's just adorable. You can add that cute little flower into the panda's hair, and then you can have them hold all sorts of different things. So the forward-facing guy could hold the envelope, the hugging pandas could hold the bamboo shoots. You can layer lots of pandas together on a card, which looks so super cute, especially on a portrait card. I mean, it's just adorable. Now, these are the coordinating dies for the I Heart Pandas add-on, which you can separate at the tabs by bending them, or you can use your wire snips. And of course, we're going to line them up with our beautifully stamped images that we can hold it in place with some low tack tape. Then we'll run them through the die cut machines, and we'll have perfectly cut out images every time. And then here you can see all of the images from the I Heart Pandas add-on stamp set. They are just so super cute, and you can layer these cute little images together. So you can put the little panda on top of the rock, layer the bamboo behind him to create a cute little scene, and add the butterfly into the sky for a pop of color. The add-on images work super cute on their own, but they're even cuter when you add them in with the I Heart Pandas. So there you can see the different sizes of the bamboo shoots, and you can see how the different pandas can layer onto the rocks too. You can layer all of the accessories and mix and match them together, and I love adding that little sleepy panda around with all the other pandas. It's just adorable, and I love that the hugging guys fit on the rock too. Next, we're going to take a look at the coloring stencils for I Heart Pandas. And this is a 2-sheet set, and you can see it has beautifully etched guidelines that make it really, really easy to line up with your stamped images. So all you need to do is take your stencil, line it up with your image, and then just add your ink. And I'm just brushing on some ink. Here I'm using a nice light gray ink, which is manatee, and I'm just adding a little bit of gray right around the edges, just like what I did with the marker, but now we're doing it with a stencil. So I love that whether you love to color with markers or you color with stencils, either one is absolutely amazing, and these stencils are so much fun to use. So now I'm just working my way down the stencil to add some color to the bamboo shoot. So there you can see I add a little bit of color to the top and bottom, and now to the middle, and now I can shift down one more time, easily line it up because of those etched guidelines, and then I can add some color to the leaves. So I just love using coloring stencils. They are so much fun, and if you've never seen a coloring stencil before, make sure to check out our intro to coloring stencils video. I'll link it in the description below. Next, we're moving on to the bamboo, and I have to tell you that with the coloring stencils is my favorite way to add color to these bamboo because it looks absolutely amazing. Each individual piece gets this beautiful shadow because of the edge of the stencil. Oh, I just think it's just so pretty. Here I'm using some jalapeno ink, which is this bright green that's just so gorgeous. And here you can see, I mean, look how beautiful that is. Oh, I just love it. And now we're just going to move down our stencil and we're going to add some color to the leaves. And of course, you could play around with different shades of green for the leaves or just stay the same like I've done here. Really, anything is going to look absolutely amazing. Oh my goodness, I just love this. Look how beautiful. It's so much fun. So now that we've used our coloring stencils for I Heart Pandas, we also have the coloring stencils for the I Heart Pandas add-on. And the cool thing about the coloring stencils is we always make them the size of the stamp set, so it makes it really easy to start with it. So this is a 4x3" stamp set. We have a 4x3" coloring stencil. The same thing for the I Heart Pandas. They're all the same size. It makes it really, really easy to store them all together. Now for my little sleeping panda bear, I decided to use some sugar cookie ink, which is a nice light brown, and I think the pandas look so cute with the light brown. I need to do that more often. I really love how it turned out. And then I'm using that manatee ink here on the rock to add some color there. And then now we're going to go ahead and add some color to this bamboo. And this is going to work in the same way. We're just going to line up our stencil, line up our etch lines, and then just shift down the stencil and keep adding our color. And I just think the bamboo looks so gorgeous with the stencil. And these are just so much fun to use. There's something about the process of like shifting down to the different pieces of my stamped image that is just so much fun. And here you can see those finished images. They're just so cute. I really love the brown on the panda. And then what I like about it as well is that you can do things like take a light pink marker and still add rosy cheeks for those extra details or some white gel pen details too. And then here's a comparison between the two. I really like the gray and the brown panda bear. I think it's just fun depending on the look of your card. And then I went ahead and die cut these different images, and you can see just how cute they look die cut. I just love the coloring stencils, and I can't wait to add these onto a card. And so now let's get to some card making. I'm going to start off with the largest of our outside in stitched rectangle dies, and I'm going to die cut that from some white cardstock. And I'm going to use some post-it note tape, or you could just use a post-it as well, to mask off the kind of bottom not third, a little bit less than a third, quarter, I guess, of the card there at the bottom. And I'm just going to wrap that post-it note tape around, and we're going to start using the brand new bamboo stencils. So I'm going to add this here to my stamp wheel. It's just a grip mat that's going to kind of hold it in place, or you could use whatever tool you like to use, or tape or anything to hold your stencils. And there I've got my 3-step bamboo stencils, which are so much fun. And so the first thing I'm going to do before I use those bamboo stencils is I'm going to add some color into the sky here. And so I'm using some Distress Oxide ink, and I'm using Shabby Shutters, which is a nice light green. Now I can bring these beautiful bamboos right on top there, and then we're going to add some crushed olive onto those bamboo stalks. So here you can see I've got my cute little helper here. My son Miles is helping me stencil. He loves to stencil, and so we're going to go ahead and add that green on there, and then we can lift up the stencil, and doesn't that look gorgeous? Oh my goodness. So now we can move on to another step of this stencil, and this is going to give the little, I believe they're called nodes that are in between the bamboos there, the kind of almost like knuckles of them. And so we're going to add a little bit of a darker green over this whole stencil here and add those on. And there you can see that my son is taking a look at a card that he made with another brand new die that we're going to be showing you guys tomorrow. And oh my gosh, when you lift up that stencil, doesn't that look beautiful? Oh, I just love it. And then now here we have some leaves. And what I like about this stencil is you could just do the bamboo, you could add the little extra detail of the kind of like the little knuckles in between them, and then you can add the leaves. Or you could just do one of the steps. You don't have to do all three of them, just depending on the look that you want for your card. But in this case, I really wanted to add these leaves in. So here is some rustic wilderness ink for a kind of different shade of green. And we're going to layer that over all of the leaves here to create this really beautiful background for our pandas. And isn't that stunning? Oh, I just love it. And then, of course, one of my other favorite parts is kind of the big reveal here. I love pulling off a mask. It's so much fun. I just love it. So here you can see we're just going to pull that off, and that's going to give us a nice white area on the bottom so that we have the bamboo at the top, and then we have the really nice bright white area at the bottom for our sentiment. Then to add some extra detail to this background, I'm just going to add some white gel pen lines onto the leaves. And I think when you do this, it really makes the leaves pop and feel kind of three-dimensional. Also, you may have seen our Out of This World stamp set kind of hanging around the whole time. My son loves space, and that's his absolute favorite stamp set. So it always needs to be out on the desk, which I think is so cute. And I have a feeling these pandas are going to become a favorite for him too. So here I have the I Heart Pandas stamp set and then a sentiment banner die. And I'm going to put together one of the sentiments in this set. And all of our sentiments on these sets are a rectangular base that are the same size. So all you need to do is just kind of line them up against each other, and they have a natural cling, so they kind of just stick to each other. And you can create any of your own custom phrases, putting together either the phrases in one set or mixing and matching the I Heart Pandas and the add-on together. So here we're going to go ahead and stamp out You're a Very Good Friend, and I'm going to die cut that with the die. And you'll see that I always stamp out two, and I just do that just in case I make a mistake with the die or the die shifts for some reason. I always have another sentiment ready to go, just in case I need it. And so here I'm going to line up my sentiment banner, hold it in place with some low-tech tape, run it through the die cut machine, and now it's going to be ready to add onto the card. And right now I am remaking a card by Audrey, so thank you so much, Audrey, because this card is just the cutest. So I went ahead and just trimmed down the end of that banner, and then I'm going to add some foam squares to the banner. I always have a little dish on my desk so I can put all my little foam square backers in it. And then I'm going to layer that right between the edge of the bamboo and the kind of white part of our card that we didn't stencil on. Then here I have the I Heart Panda stamp set, and I've got some bamboo, a cute little panda, and then I also have the rock there that's from the add-on. So I love that we can mix the rock from the add-on with the pandas and the I Heart Pandas. So we're going to layer that right there on the edge because that sentiment's kind of becoming our ground in our bamboo forest here. And then we can start to layer our different pieces. And so I'm going to add some adhesive on the back of the panda so I can layer some of the bamboo behind him. And then I'm going to be adding foam squares all along the back of that. Now the bamboo was a bit tall, so I just trimmed off the bottom and no one will ever know because it's hidden right behind my panda. And then now I'm ready to start adding some foam squares. And so we can layer that right on top. And so I like that we have our die cut bamboo pieces kind of popped up in the front and then our stenciled ones in the background. And then I'm just going to layer these with some foam squares behind them too, right on to the panda, which I think is so sweet. Now, one of the things that I really love that Audrey did in this card is she brought in this pop of red. And so I have these cute little clay hearts. You could use little sequins, you could die cut little hearts, whatever you happen to have in your stash to add a little pop of color on this card, I think is so much fun. And so here you can see I've got these little hearts, and I'm going to use my glue tube to add a little bit of glue behind each one of those, and I'm going to layer them onto the card. And there's something about it that just, I don't know, I just love that pop of color, and it's so cute to go along with the very good friend sentiment. And once again, this shows that while the pandas are adorable for Valentine's Day, they're also really great for any kind of year-round friendship cards too. And so we're going to layer those hearts right in there. And then the last thing I'm going to do is take out a standard size card base that's 5.5 by 4.25. We're going to add some tape runner to the back of this whole piece that we've stenciled and decorated, and then layer this on. And that's going to give us this cute little 1/8 inch border all of the way around. And I really like the white space on this card. I think it looks so beautiful, and it really helps the panda pop on the card too, which I just think is so sweet. And so now this card is all done. It was so much fun to combine both stenciling and also stamping and die cutting onto the card. Next, we're going to do some more stenciling because we're going to create an interactive swivel surprise card. I'm so excited to do that with these pandas. And so here I have a piece of cardstock that's 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I'm going to layer my bamboo on top, and then here I'm using some freshly cut grass ink from lawnfawn, and I'm going to layer that over top. And you'll see that it's a little bit lighter up towards the top, and I like that because it made me feel like the sun was kind of coming up through the forest. I thought it looked so pretty. Now here I'm going to go ahead and line up the leaves, and lining these up is so easy because we have etched guidelines on all of these stencils, so it's very easy to line up and add your awesome leaf detail to these. Then we're going to go in and add the nodes, or I like to call them the knuckles because they kind of remind me of knuckles, but I did Google it and they are officially called nodes. And so we're going to layer those right onto the bamboo here. And you can see that for this stencil, I have been using almost the two same color of inks, freshly cut grass for the leaves and the bamboo actual stalks. And then for these nodes, we're going to use some sage leaf ink and then lift up. And isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, I just love how this looks. So now we have that awesome piece, and we are going to take a standard size card here, and we're going to do it as a side fold card because we're creating a swivel surprise. And so I'm going to add some tape runner to the back of this piece, and we're just going to layer that onto the left-hand side on the inside of the card to create a background for our swivel surprise. And if you've never made a swivel surprise card before, make sure to check out our intro to swivel surprise. We'll link it in the description below. And so here are all of the dies for the swivel surprise. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to die cut the mechanism piece, which is this piece here. And you'll see that the die has created some score lines for us, and we're going to be folding along all of those score lines. So you're going to end up folding back, and then I like to use a bone folder to reinforce the folds so that they have a nice sharp crease. And so first we're going to fold along the 3 horizontal score lines. And then we're going to fold along those diagonal lines that kind of create an X there in the middle. Then we're going to take our index fingers, point towards the center of that X, and when you push in, you'll see that the whole piece just kind of naturally collapses. So let's try that again. We're going to take our index fingers, we're going to point them in towards that center, and you'll see as you push, it starts to collapse just like that. I'll kind of show you here from the edge so you can see exactly what's happening. As you push in, it collapses, and it creates a little piece that kind of looks like this little shark with a fin. We're going to flip that over, and we're going to be adding some adhesive where I'm adding the pen here. So you'll see that the back kind of looks like a little house. We're going to add it to the bottom of the house, not the roof, just the bottom. And we're going to use some nice, strong 1/4 inch double-sided tape. So I'm going to add one piece, and then I'll just peel up that liner paper, and then I can add the second piece to make sure that the whole thing is covered. And we want to use some nice, strong tape here because this is the part of the mechanism that attaches into your card. So you want to make sure it's nice and strong so that you get a really great movement on your interactive card. So we're going to bring our card in, we're going to take this piece, we're going to flip it over, and then you're going to add it into the center of the card. Just kind of eyeball it. You'll see that end right there is just going to butt up right into that center fold of the card. And once you have that lined up just like that, then you can go ahead and press down, and that's going to attach that adhesive. Then the next thing you'll do is just pull on that, and you'll see when everything pops up, you know you've put it in the right place because you can see your mechanism already working, which is just so cool. Now the die comes with this little ring piece, and this ring piece die cuts both a ring and a center circle. And so I'm going to be die cutting this from some fruit salad paper. There's a green gingham that I thought would be really cute to go along with this. And right now I am recreating a card by Callie, so thank you so much, Callie. This card is so gorgeous. So here you can see we have our ring and our center circle, and we're going to be using both of those on the card. So now we're going to work this piece at the top, and it kind of looks like a butter knife there. And so I'm going to add some pen there so you can see where I'm going to be putting some tape runner, but it's going to go just on the knife part of the butter knife. And here I can just use some tape runner to add this on. And you'll see the curve of the knife is going to match up with the curve of your circle. So all you need to do is just line those two up. So we're going to line them right up, and that's going to put that circle in perfect placement. We can press down to secure it, and you can push and pull that tab there to see the movement of that circle. Now we're going to work with this little bottom piece here. We're going to add some tape runner right where I put that pen mark. And so we're going to add our tape runner right there. We're going to take the ring, and we're going to feed that piece right there through the center. See this piece that's kind of flopping out there? We're going to put that right through the center. And then we're just going to line up the ring with that bottom piece. They're the same exact size. So once you've lined them up, you'll know that you have your ring in exact placement too. And then you can just push and pull this piece and look at how they're both moving. Ah, it's so cool. The Swivel Surprise has this little tiny rectangle die, and we're going to work with that next. So here you can see I've die cut it. It has a little X there and a score line. We're going to hold it so that little X is in the upper left-hand corner, and then we're going to fold up along that score line so that it looks like a little tiny chair. You can see we've kind of made like a little chair there. Now you'll notice there's a little X here and there's an X there. Well, those two X's are going to line up on top of each other, and that's how that piece is going to be added. So right here, we're going to use some liquid glue, and we're going to add a drop of liquid glue right onto that X, just like that. So we're just going to add a little bit of glue right there, and then we're going to layer those two X's on top of each other. And then what I'm going to do is just take my finger and hold it in place and let that glue dry. So I'm just going to kind of hold it there once I've lined it up. You can see how it kind of lines up exactly there. It looks like a little chair, and we're just going to hold that in place and let that dry. Now, you know how when you stand up from a stadium seat, it kind of folds up? That's what we're going to do here. So we're going to fold that piece up, and then we're going to be adding some nice strong tape to the back of that piece. So there you can see I've got my 1/4" tape again, and I'm adding it to the back of that seat. I'm going to peel up that liner paper. I'm going to make sure that seat is folded up, and then I'm going to bring in the larger circle. This is the die from the Swivel Surprise. I've die cut this white piece, and I'm going to add it on top. But right here, you'll see I realized, oops, I meant to stamp on this piece. So I'm going to stamp the I Love You More Than Bamboo, which is so super cute, and it goes along with our stencil background. And then now, once again, I'm going to make sure that piece is folded up. You can see my adhesive there. And then now I can layer that white circle on top. And I'm just making sure that it's nice and centered into that ring so that there's a nice even border all the way around. And then I can press down and secure that in place. Here's where I always like to test. I like to push and pull. You'll see the first time you do it, it won't move quite as well. And then the more you use it, the better it's going to move. So now we're going to make sure that the whole thing is pushed in and we've got that little edge there, and we're going to be adding some nice strong tape to this edge. So there you can see there's a little score line. We're going to add that to the left of that score line. I'm going to add 2 pieces of the nice strong tape. And then all you need to do is just close your card, and that's going to secure it in place. So there you'll see we can just close our card and press down. That's going to pick up that adhesive, and when you open, look at this. Isn't that so cool? Oh my gosh. I just never get over these. They are just so much fun to make. It's just so adorable. So now I'm going to bring out my I Heart Pandas stamp set, which is so super sweet. And we're going to go ahead and start layering some of these pieces onto here. Now, the first thing I wanted to do was just add a little pop of red on that heart. So I'm just adding a little bit of red marker to the little heart in the I Heart You More Than Bamboo. And now we can start layering our pieces into the scene. One of the things that I love about Swivel Surprise is you can have things kind of extending off of the edge of these different circles. And so that's what we're going to do with some of this bamboo and the little like bamboo shoots and the little leaves too. And I've added those 2 bamboos, and we're going to layer our little hugging pandas over top, which are just so sweet. And then I'm just going to layer some more leaves behind them to kind of help fill in the scene. And then we'll start adding some other things to the other parts of the Swivel Surprise mechanism. So I've got this cute little butterfly that's going to be flying up in the sky there. And then I'm going to start adding some more little bamboo pieces. And you'll see I just kind of keep playing with it because I want to see how's everything looking, how does it layer, how does it move. And the more things that you add onto these different circles, kind of pointing in different directions, the more movement you see in the card, which I think is amazing. So you'll see there that everything even looks like it's moving more as we add more bamboo and more leaves into this cute scene. And here you can see I'm just adding some more bamboo, and then we need to start working on our sentiment. And the Swivel Surprise comes with this really cool curved banner that matches the curve of that ring. And so we're going to work on stamping something from that. And so there you can see there's that curved banner. What I like to do is put my clear block on top of the banner, and that gives me a guide as to how to curve my stamp. So there you can see I've got the Hava, and then now I'm going to take the Pandastic, and so I'm going to just kind of attach that and then curve it, matching up with the curve of that die cut. And this makes it really easy to do. And this says, have a Pandastic day. So I've combined and mixed and matched sentiments from both the I Heart Pandas stamp set and the add-on. I love that you can do that. And then we can ink that up with some black licorice ink, and I'm just going to stamp that right onto this curved banner. And doesn't that look so cute? And then I decided to add a little exclamation point because why not? It's just adorable. And now we can start to add this right onto that curve. And I love putting the sentiment there because again, it's going to give that showing of movement on the Swivel Surprise to have more things added onto there. So we're going to add our cute little sentiment there, and then we're going to add this little ladybug. And I like this because it almost looks like the ladybug placed the sentiment there or walked across the whole scene and made the sentiment. I don't know. I just think it's adorable. And so now you can see this super cute motion. And of course, now we need to decorate the front of the card. And so I'm going to take out one of my favorite new die sets. Oh my gosh, I just love these. These are our bamboo forest dies, and we have them in landscape and in portrait. I'm going to use the portrait here, and I've die cut it out of white cardstock, and I'm going to use marker to add color to this. Now, you could use colored cardstock or pattern paper like our watercolor wishes paper with the texture looks amazing on these, but I love to use my markers, and I wanted to show you how quick and easy this was to do. I just went ahead and added darkness there to the left side of the bamboo pieces. Then I came in with my medium and just kind of scribbly blended it. It doesn't need to be perfect because the more texture, the better. And then I brought my lightest marker over to blend it. And I just had so much fun coloring these all in. It was just so much fun. And I got such a gorgeous shading on the bamboo just by adding that darker marker to the edge. And you can see because I didn't blend it that much, you really get that nice dark edge. And I think it just looks so pretty. Now here are our stitched rectangle frame dies, and these stitched rectangle frame dies match with almost all of our backdrops. So I love this because you can add a different color frame on top, or you can mix and match things together really easily by using that stitched rectangle frame. And so I die cut that out of some white cardstock just to layer it because I had some marker that kind of went into the frame. So I thought, you know what, I'll just layer a nice clean frame over top, and that'll just cover up any of my little oopsies marker edges there. So I'm just going to layer that on there with some glue too and let that dry. And now our backdrop is already looking so cool. It's just so much fun. I love that look with the markers. Now that we've got this awesome backdrop, I wanted to add even more bamboo. So we are going to be using the bamboo stencils again here. So I have a piece of white cardstock that's 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to start off with some sage leaf ink here, which is just this really beautiful soft green. And we're going to ink all over these bamboo to create this really beautiful background. And there you can see just how stunning this is looking already. Then we can go ahead and add the leaves over top. And again, it's really easy to line up because of those etched guidelines. You don't even have to think about it. It just lines right up and then you can ink right over it. And I use the same color for the leaves as I did for the bamboo. And you'll see I'm kind of keeping it darker towards the bottom and lighter towards the top. Now we're going to add some more detail to these beautiful bamboos. And again, we're just going to use the same color of ink again, just nice and light. So I love that you could just use one shade of green and it looks beautiful on this. Now here I'm going to go ahead and use a nice kind of like bright darker shade of green here at the bottom, some jalapeno, and this is going to create kind of a grassy look. Then I'm going to use some sage leaf for the middle, and this is kind of creating our sky, and then celery stick for the top to be kind of like the glow of the sun coming through. Now, right now, I put this backdrop over top and I was like, oof, this is kind of too much. There's like almost too much bamboo. I've gone too crazy here. I thought, what could I do? Because I really like this. And I thought, what if I took some vellum and I put it over top and look at that? Oh my gosh, I was so excited. I have to remember this, that vellum is such a great way to diffuse something. So if you have a pattern paper that maybe is a bit too bright or a background that you created that you made just a bit too dark, you can put vellum over top of it and still use it and get this like beautiful, gorgeous look. So here I took some Noble Fur ink and I just made it a little bit darker at the bottom because the vellum was kind of really taking away that darker bottom. So I just added a little bit more. And now I'm going to take this vellum and trim that down to be 5.5 by 4.25 and then layer that over top. And look at that. It looks like misty. I think it's just so pretty. So once again, I was making sure that I liked how it looked and I think it's looking really awesome. So now I'm going to add some liquid glue around the edges. Vellum can be tricky because your adhesive can show through, but in this case, I know that I have that nice white frame all around my background so I can hide my adhesive all along the edge of the card, and that's going to help hold the vellum in place. So we're going to layer that over top, and now we've taken my background that I made a little bit too dark, and now it's going to be the perfect background. So vellum is like my superhero here for fixing my card. And so now for this backdrop, I'm going to use some foam strip just to add some all the way around the frame. And I added a little bit to some of the bamboo too, just to kind of help support it. And then I'm going to add that. And I think by popping it up, it really makes it look like the rest of that forest is kind of like way in the background, like the bamboo forest just keeps going and going. And so now that we have this beautiful backdrop, of course we need to add a panda into that. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the I Heart Pandas add-on with this cute little sleepy panda, and he's going to be going on the front of the card. And here I used my white gel pen to add some details onto the panda. I think it really just helps make them pop. I like the cartoony look of it. And so this is a fun way to just add some extra detail onto your pandas. And when I did that, I thought, let me add a little bit of extra white gel pen detail onto some of these bamboo pieces too. And so you'll see that that just kind of helps them pop as well and just gives them a nice little extra detail that's going to help match the details on our panda too. And so here I'm going to put some foam squares behind everything again so that it has a nice pop so that that vellum background really looks like it's in the background. So we're going to add our panda to the rocks and then we're going to layer in our little bamboo pieces. Now, I wanted there to be a little bit of a sentiment on the front, knowing that then we have the surprise on the inside. And so I love these tiny little sentiments that are in the set. We have the "You are so very special," which is just so sweet. And then I'm going to take out all the speech bubbles, which is such a great basics kind of stamp set because it has these speech bubbles that fit the tiny phrases in our stamp set. So I found the perfect match and I went ahead and die cut that with the coordinating die. And then I just put some foam squares on the back of that and then just layered that right onto the card so that we have this cute little sentiment and then we're going to have the big surprise of the inside. So here's the swivel surprise that we worked on earlier, and then I'm going to add some adhesive to that and then I can layer this on to the front of the card. And I just had so much fun making this card. I love it so much. It's just so sweet and so cute. And as you open it up, you get the fun surprise of the pandas on the inside. Now, when I looked at it, I thought the little connector piece, I just wanted there to be a little bit more of that green pattern paper. So I cut a piece to be 1 inch by 1.5 inches, added some adhesive on the back, and just layered it over top to kind of help decorate that connector part of the mechanism. And so now here I have the front. And there I have the inside. And this is just so cute. I can't wait to send this to someone. I love these pandas so much. They are so much fun. And I just had so much, just such a blast. Stenciling all of the bamboo, adding the color with the marker onto the backdrop die. Just so much fun. And I just love all of this motion. I just can't, I just get so happy thinking about how someone's going to be so excited to open this up. It's just going to feel so special. And I just love it so much. And I love the I love you more than bamboo. It really goes along with our whole theme. Next up, Shari is going to be creating a super cute Valentine's Day card using one of my favorite new stencils too. So take it away, Shari.
So I am creating a Valentine card today, and I am starting out with some Yeti spiffier speckles paper, and I am going to cut this with the largest of the new lacy rectangle stackables. I really love these new rectangles. For my background, I'm using the new layered hearts background stencils. There are 3 of these, and these create some fun hearts that layer over each other and create some kind of stripes of hearts across the background. So I'm using some removable adhesive just to hold my rectangle in place on my glass mat. And then what I'm actually doing here is I'm taping a masking tape right along that stitching line of the rectangle. I wanted my stenciling to stay inside the frame of those fun lacy details on the rectangle. So I'm masking those off so that that part of the rectangle stays white and my hearts will stop right before it gets to that lacy detail. This also helps hold that piece of paper in place really well. So I'm starting out with the first stencil. They are numbered in the corner 1, 2, and 3. And here are the colors I'm going to use. I'm making a nice, pretty pastel, colorful background. So I'm starting out with Peachy Keen for my first layer of hearts. And I'm trying to be very light-handed. I don't want this to be too dark or too distracting. But this is really pretty on this Yeti paper because we get that fun gold metallic foil in the background and it will resist the ink that I'm stenciling over it. So there is our first layer of Peachy Keen hearts. Then I'm moving on to the second stencil. Now there is etching on there so you can line up the hearts that you've already stenciled with the second stencil. And then I'm using some fresh lavender ink. So this is that pretty light purple ink. And just as before, I'm trying to be light-handed so it's not too dark. Once I have my inking on there, I'll pull that apart. This is really pretty just with the 2. I think it's like little couples of hearts. But I'm going to move on to the third stencil and use some Minty Fresh ink. So I used those etching lines to line up my hearts. You can see how this starts to create these kind of diagonal stripes of color. I like that it is designed so the colors alternate and so you don't get any kind of stacked one on top of each other. But when I pull this away, you're going to see that kind of layered overlap effect between the hearts, which I think is very cool. I think this would be fun if you did all the hearts in the same color as well, because they'd still get that really fun overlap look. And just look at that gold foil in the background, it's just so pretty. So we'll set this aside, and now I'm using another new product, which is the doily hearts. I've cut this from some pink spiffy speckles paper, and then I'm going to use that same Peachy Keen ink that I used on the background just to dust the edges and darken it up. This is going to help it stand out against the background, and it's also going to make all of those really fun dotted details that the die cuts kind of stand out. You can see how they're starting to kind of pop out when you ink this. You can see the little hearts dotted inside the hearts and the little border. So I'm just checking to see if that looks the way I want. I decided I wanted it a little bit darker. This is going to be the focal point where my little pandas are going to go. So I'm just pulling that ink a little further in, basically covering all the hearts on the outside of the doily. So I've already stamped and colored and cut out my little pandas in my bamboo, but I want to cut their little paws with the die that cuts their paws out so that they can hold some bamboo. So you can see I lined that up, and now there's some little slits where you can take this bamboo. I have the little leaves for the one on the right and a little piece of bamboo for the one on the left. And you just tuck it right underneath their paws so it looks like they're holding it, and that is just so cute. Next up, I'm going to cut some little sentiment strips. I will cut this from some lilac cardstock, and I cut two of these because I'm going to take my sentiment and break it into two parts so I can have one at the top of the card and one at the bottom. So I will take the part that says Valentine's Day. This is actually the second half of the sentiment that says have a fantastic Valentine's Day. And I'm stamping this towards the left of the banner. This is going to hang off the right side of the card, and I'll trim that excess off. Then I can stamp the first part of my sentiment in the same way on the other one, but towards the right. And now I'm ready to start to assemble my card. I have a card base cut from some mermaid cardstock. This is A2 size, so 4¼ by 5½. And the large lacy rectangle fits perfectly onto this rectangle. And I chose to use the mermaid cardstock so that you could see that teal blue through the lacy rectangle details on the outside edge. Next, I have my doily hearts, and I've put some foam squares all over the back, and I'm going to place this just so the edge of those hearts kind of hangs off the right side, and then I will trim those off so it looks like this focal point hangs off that side. Now I can take my little pandas and my bamboo that I colored and cut out and create a little scene on this doily. I love these bamboo pieces in the I Heart Pandas and I Heart Pandas add-on. I think they're so fun, and I love that they're all different lengths and sizes, and you can really get some variety in your cards. For my little pandas, I am using some thin foam squares to pop them up a little bit away from the bamboo and the doily behind them. And they're going to nicely cover up the bottom of that bamboo and make that look a little more grounded. Now for my sentiment, I'm going to do the same thing and add some thin foam squares to the back. I'm just going to use my large squares and cut them in half, so I have some little pieces to add. And I'm going to layer this below my pandas onto my doily, and just as I said before, hang that right side off of the card and just trim off that little fishtail. Now I need to do the same for the first part of my sentiment, so I am going to add those same thin foam squares right underneath that sentiment, and this one's going to go up towards the top left corner. And I can use my layered heart stencil to make sure that's nice and straight too, since I have those kind of straight lines of hearts. And there is my really fun sentiment that's kind of going from corner to corner. And then finally, I always want to add some little hearts for some extra embellishment. So I'm taking the Hearts and Stars skinny tag die, which has those 3 different sizes of hearts, and I've cut these from some guava cardstock. Those extras there, I usually just put them in my drawer, and they're easy to grab when I need some embellishments. But I've sprinkled these around and then I'm just picking them up and adding them with a little bit of liquid glue. And then of course we need some sparkle. So I'm using my Stickles glitter glue. Today I'm using unicorn instead of stardust just for something a little different, but it's kind of the same colors. And I added it to the leaves of the bamboo and all the little heart embellishments. And then here is my finished card, and I just love the way it turned out with all those hearts in the background and that cute little doily to make a focal point for my pandas.
Oh my goodness, Shari, this card is so cute. I love that little doily and the adorable hugging pandas. It's just adorable how they're holding the little bamboo shoots. And next up, we have some incredible cards by the design team. And this one by Tammy is so sweet. I love how she added the pandas up into the bamboo. It's just adorable. This card by Elena is so much fun. She used one of our new lacy rectangles to create the cutest frame for her adorable scene. Here we have an awesome double slider surprise by Maureen. She has this super cute Pandastic Friend card, and as you open it up, you get this huge scene of all of the pandas surrounded by the bamboo. I love how she layered both the die cut bamboo and the stencil bamboo together. This card here by Mindy is so sweet. I love the sentiment, and I love how she has a little panda hanging out in the circle. It's just adorable. And this scene by Megan is so sweet. The XOXO is so adorable with the I love you more than bamboo sentiment. I love all the little pandas together. And then here, I love how Elise used some die cut letters for the You're a Very Good Friend. Oh my gosh, it's just so much fun. And this card by Grace is so adorable. I love the colorful frame and how the little pandas are holding onto the card for a Valentine's Day card. This card by Elise is so sweet. I love the pattern paper in the background and the little scene she created with the butterflies. And then here is the card by Callie that inspired me to make mine today. I love all of her coloring and stenciling on the front and then the wonderful surprise of the swivel surprise on the inside. These pandas are just so cute and so perfect for interactive cards. This card by Melissa is so sweet. She used the new little letter die to create those cute little letters with all the little pandas in them. Oh my gosh, it's just adorable. And then this card by Letitia is so gorgeous. I love the soft colors and how she used our new doily die as the perfect little place for our panda to sit. And then here is the card by Audrey that inspired me to make mine today. I love the olive green she used in her cute little scene. So we cannot wait to see all of your panda cards, so make sure to share them with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!